So you've decided that you want to buy your first supercar or sports car. You're not sure what to do. Here is a step-by-step guide on how you should proceed with getting your first dream car. The reason I've chosen to do this is because Cameraman Nathan has decided that he wants to step up from a Macan to something a bit more spicy, something a bit less practical, and something a bit more expensive. So in this video, what we're gonna cover is the history of the car, insurance, things like road tax and other running costs, as well as whether you should get the car from a dealership or a private seller. Now, if you're in the UK and you buy from a dealer, you're protected by the Consumer Rights Act of 2015. That means you have a 30-day right to reject, or is it right to return? Anyway, basically the law protects you, meaning that if there's something wrong with the car, it's on the dealer and not on you. However, if you go private and you buy something that's a bit of a box, or something that's falling apart, or it goes wrong the next day, well, that's on you. Case and point. Listen, I'm clowning with him. I actually really like this car. Never put your hand around my waist again. So if you buy from a private seller, you could save thousands. However, again, you have little to no protection. If you want my opinion, I would recommend that when buying a supercar or sports car or any car of substantial value, you go to a main dealer or an independent. You just have some more legal protection to ensure that if there's something wrong with the car, it can be repaired at their bill. Well, if it's in the right amount of time. But speaking of bills, we should take a look at how much running costs are for these kind of cars. But before you can even look at running costs, you kind of need to figure out what car you're gonna buy, don't you, Nathan? Yeah. So I think it's time we take a look at Ye Olde Auto Trader. So, Cameraman Nathan, what is your supercars / sports car budget?
Let's say 100k.
So for 100k, what cars could you get? Ferrari 458, they're close to 100k. Porsche GT3, again, close to 100k. You get things like your Audi R8s. You can get a bunch of McLarens. However, things like servicing and running costs are a major factor in that ownership experience. So the first on the list, Audi R8 V10 Plus, a quintessential supercar in terms of its engine, its styling, and its performance. Arguably, this car is more of a sports car, but I put it firmly in my supercar category. It is a great looking car, components shared with Lamborghini. So, Nathan, what do you think?
I think it's a really cool car. I've always liked the V10, but the only thing that taints me is it's the same company that makes the Audi A2.
We also have the Mercedes-Benz AMG GT, but in the R variant, so it's a bit more sporty, a bit more racy, and then you get a little wing, again, to make up for your lack of manhood. My issue with the AMG GT and GTRs and all of them is that I feel that because there's so many different variants, it kind of like waters down the lineage of the car. It kind of makes it, I don't know, less cool.
I know what you mean. I do think it's a good car, and it looks cool, it looks supercar-esque, but I'm not sure I like the long bonnet.
He likes things short, you see. Another option, if you want to spend near 100k on a supercar and something that is unmistakably a supercar, McLaren 720S. Right now, you can get one as low as £112,000, £114,000, and these are at dealerships, and some of them come with warranty. The issue, however, before I even ask you, the issue is that parts on these cars can be extravagant in terms of their pricing. So that's something to consider. What do you think of the McLaren 720S?
I think it's undoubtedly a supercar. Like, look at it, 720 horsepower, and it looks insane, but I don't think I have the facilities for that.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
Ferrari 458, again, expensive maintenance cost. However, Ferrari, there's this wonderful Rosso Corso example in High Wycombe.
I've always loved the 458. I had models of all different Ferraris when I was younger. Like, I love the brand, but I don't know if I can afford the running costs. And also, this looks like it's being sold out of someone's garage.
There's one brand we actually haven't got into. The brand that makes arguably the greatest sports car of all time, Porsche. A good option from Porsche is the Cayman GT4 RS. These have come down in price massively since they were released. You can now pick one up for $122. There are some cheaper versions. However, this one is at an official Porsche dealership. Great car, great to drive. What do you think?
I think it's a good car. They're not too bad to run, and they were 200 grand at one point, so it feels like you're getting quite a lot of car for your money. But I want something with a little bit more road presence than a Cayman.
I have an idea. After many minutes of searching and going through countless of useless cars, we finally nailed it down to the right one. The 991.2 Porsche GT3. The 991.2 generation was the facelifted version of the 991 street legal race car. It was the car that all enthusiasts dreamt about. the one that blurred the line between race car and road car, and the one that revved to 9,000 RPM. Naturally aspirated, rear-engined, it was also produced in a limited run production number, and that means values have been quite strong since the day it was released. So the GT3, a great choice. We're going to look through a few and then potentially make the right choice. However, we need to look at some other things first, some things to consider when you're buying your first supercar. So that brings us back to running costs. So I've quickly hopped on the phone to call my local Porsche dealership to find out the running and service costs on a Porsche GT3.
Oh, that's actually not too bad.
So we have good news and bad news. The good news is that the GT3 doesn't seem that expensive to run. So a minor service on this car is around £1,200. But then it can get a big service, which is needed, I think, every 4 years or every certain amount of miles. And that was significantly more, so around £4,000. So if you're buying one, you want to buy one that has had its major service, and you can just think about the minor one coming up. Yeah. But also I was told that one thing you have to really make sure you get with these cars is warranty, because a lot of these cars have been over revved, driven on track, or have had stuff done to them. But some more good news is the warranty on a GT3 is only £1,100. I mean, that isn't bad. That's not bad. So something a lot of first-time buyers overlook when they're buying their first supercar is the importance of warranty. Parts on these cars are expensive to replace and the work is expensive to do. A lot of it is just extortion because they know how much the car was when it first came out. But because you may be getting it used at a discounted price, you still have to factor in that every repair will still cost the same as when the car was new. For example, if you're going to pay for some of the repairs and parts yourself, prices can go into the tens of thousands. As you can see, a gearbox for a 991.2 GT3 costs 10,000 Great British pounds. And that's the eBay cost. So I can't stress how important it is that if you're buying your first supercar, make sure that it has warranty. And when I say warranty, I don't mean warranty that's third party, I mean manufacturer warranty. Third party warranties can always catch people out. People think that they're safe, people think that their cars are covered. But a lot of the third party warranty providers will only cover repairs up to a certain amount. Now, something that's very important, insurance. In the UK, car insurance is mandatory by law. And every year there are over 2 million motor insurance claims filed nationwide. The biggest single payout, £20 million from one accident involving high-end cars. So yeah, it matters. A GT3 sits in insurance group 50, the highest possible in the UK, meaning that it's expensive but not impossible to insure. For a new owner like Nathan, insurance could be anywhere between £1,000 to £6,000 per year, depending on age, experience, and postcode. But one thing you should be mindful of: don't always go for the cheapest insurance quote. There are many companies that will cover you. However, with these kind of cars, you want specialist or at least specialist equipped high-end insurance. That makes sure that when the car needs a repair, they take it to certified dealerships and repair shops to get the work done. It makes a massive difference in case something goes wrong. Have you ever had an accident before?
Once, yeah.
So 23, your first supercar, and you've had an accident.
Yeah.
This is gonna be hard. So this is the car Nathan found and the one he wants to get now. It's cool, it's very red. It's very, very red. However, guards red, although in pictures, you may be like, red, but in person it looks sensational on 911s. This is a really good car. I think it's a really good choice you made because it's got great handling, it's got good performance, but also it's reliable, and then you can still warranty it. And then it's not an old car, so it's still got the modern edge to it. I think this is probably one of the best GT3s. I think you made the right choice. Are you excited?
Yeah, I literally cannot wait for this car. I think it's
So now Nathan's found the car, it's important that we do the most significant part of the supercar search: checking a car's history. Today's sponsor for the video is a sponsor that is very relevant, because when you're buying your first supercar, sports car, or if you're buying any regular car, you have to know the car's history because every car has had a previous owner's story. That's why we're working with CarVertical to ensure that you can make sure your car is the right one. CarVertical pulls data from over 900 sources worldwide: insurance databases, police records, and service history. It shows if a car's been crashed, stolen, or even if it's had its mileage rolled back. And it also can show you pictures from an accident. For example, this car that we ran earlier had a clean history, or what seemed like a clean history, until CarVertical discovered that this car had actually had crash damage. And this is the kind of thing that dealers do not always tell you up front. So to make sure that you don't fall into a trap and the car you're buying is A-OK, make sure to use CarVertical. You can use the code Tomi10 to get 10% off your first CarVertical check. And what's awesome is that if you want to check and it comes back all clean, CarVertical actually refunds you your credits. So it's a win-win. So that's Tomi10 to get 10% off your first CarVertical check. I've put it in the description below and it's also in the comment. Now let's get back to the video. So you've checked everything and everything is A-OK. Now it's time to make the big decision. Buying your first supercar or sports car. Now I'm just gonna talk from my heart because I've done it a few times buying these cars, and every single time it's just as exciting as the first. You just have to make sure that whichever car you're getting, you're set on that car and it's the car that you genuinely want. And you're not buying it for anyone else, you're just buying it for yourself. These cars are nothing like driving a regular car. Whether it's the 918 Spider, the SVJ, the 296, GT3 RS, GT3, GT3 Touring, whatever car you get, they are all unique and they all have their own personalities. But one thing that they are is an outstanding marvel of engineering. So again, if it makes sense, I say just go ahead and do it.
So I've just had the message come through that the finance has been approved. And I'm left with one thing to do now. I've got to make the final decision. Am I going to buy this car? I am. This is going to be very expensive. Now all I've got to do is make the call to the dealership, let them know I want the car, and send them some money. Hello, Michael. How you doing? If you're ready to make the deposit payment.
Let me just get my system up and running, and I can take that deposit now.
For 2,500 in total.
Correct, yeah.
Perfect, okay.
When you're ready, I can take that loan card number.
Yeah, of course, I'll get that signed.
Yeah, and then we're all good to go, really.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks again, Nathan. Speak to you soon.
Cheers, speak to you soon. But, yeah. So, the deposit has been paid. I can't actually believe that this is going to happen. So now all we have to do is wait for the finance people to get involved and make their payment over to the dealer, and then we'll be ready to roll. So now it's time to go get the car.
Sadly for Nathan collecting his car, I wasn't available because I was at Carwow filming a drag race. We could have delayed it, but I said to Nathan, just go ahead and get that car ASAP because you're gonna be itching. I know what it's like the night before you get like your first dream car or your first supercar, you can't sleep. So Nathan went out, he picked up the car with Amir, and I don't know. I'm just waiting for my turn to go and see it.
So I'm here to pick up a car. Let's hope it's in here. Oh my god. That's mine. How? Wow, it looks insane. What do you think on there? What do you think?
Unreal, honestly. This colour doesn't, you know, camera doesn't do it justice, but such a fat car, love it.
So my old car had an M2, Ahmed came with me to get that.
Yeah,
and yeah.
Now we're here again.
Now we're here again. Oh my god. Red actually looks so good. Tommy's not here, so we're gonna FaceTime him, but we'll take him to show him the car properly tomorrow. But let's FaceTime Tommy now and see what he thinks. Yo.
Your signal sucks.
Yeah, it's bad here.
Oh wow. That is banging. Oh my goodness. Oh wow.
This is...
Congratulations, that is fire, man.
Thanks, man. Oh,
Fire.
you're oh, there you go. You're frozen. So sick, man.
So it's a new day. I got a call from Nathan and he said he went to look at the car and it wasn't the right one for him. Psych, the car's right here. Congratulations, Nathan. I've already had my moment with Nathan of being overjoyed and very ecstatic about his purchase. I'm super proud of him because this is incredible. So Nathan, shall we take a little tour around your new GT3 991.2?
It's insane. I love it. I think honestly, my favorite part of the car
has to be the back. This wing with the Porsche on it.
Yeah, no, the wing is crazy, but
And
do you know
the
one thing I love? Yeah,
The intake.
that's one thing I love. And I wish that these intakes were on the newer generation
Yeah,
cars,
it's a
because
shame.
to me, this just looks so sexy. I don't know how to describe it. And obviously, it's still when 911s were like a reasonable size. They're a lot bigger now. This car has the 4-litre engine.
Yeah.
The first generation of the
3.8.
GT3, 3.8, but that engine had a lot of faults,
Kept
didn't
blowing
it?
up
Kept
and
blowing up.
all
And then, if I remember, the pistons kept getting warped or something like
Yeah,
that.
I think that was it,
so,
yeah.
this is the upgraded engine, so it has more power and more reliability. So it's a very cool, very cool interior in here, man. I love. This isn't factory, is it? Is this factory? Or
Yeah,
is
I
this
think so.
special request? It looks still very race car, whereas the 992s, it looks like just a regular 911. I like the fact that the bucket seats and then the sparsity in the middle, and then you still got physical touch buttons, exhaust button, nose lift, all your traction buttons. You don't have to do much in infotainment. And then my favorite thing about this generation was cup holders. They are so cool, like super cool. You also got a roll cage. The roll cage is sick. There's 2 issues with the roll cage. You can't get luggage in the back. And then the second issue is that you can't get luggage in the back. How did you find the drive?
Yeah, I thought when you sit in it, it literally feels like you're in a race car, which is, well, when I've sat in R8s before and things like that, they feel like GT cars. But when you get in this car,
It feels like a
does
race
feel
car,
like a
and
race
it
car.
drives like a race
It's
car.
because you've got the buckets and the stiff suspension.
How do you feel now that you bought it? You're probably nervous when you're
Yeah,
sorting it out,
I
right?
felt like nervous, like shaky. Don't think it's actually set in that it's mine. Like, I just haven't processed it that it's mine. I can just go drive when I want.
It's crazy. It looks incredible. I am super proud of you. That is an unbelievable achievement. Unbelievable.
Thank you, man.
So there you have it, and those are the things you need to look out for when you're buying your first supercar. I'm not going to sit on your car, I'm just going to pretend I'm going to sit on your car, but let's quickly recap through the list of things we need to go through. Nathan, do you know one thing that we haven't spoken about that you actually need for this car?
What?
A tracker. It's important in case your car gets stolen. A lot of cars get stolen every year, and a lot get recovered, but to get recovered, you need to make sure you have a good tracker system. I use a company called GTE, Global Telemetrics. It allows me to track the car. I can also stop the car from starting, and the car will not start unless I have a special card in the car with me. So I'll put a link in the description, but yeah, check out Global Telemetrics. This isn't an ad, they don't pay me or anything. I'm just being nice, but yeah, Nathan, you need to I'll hook
Can
you
they
up.
hook me up?
Yeah,
Alright, wicked.
Yeah. So to recap, the things that are important when buying your first sports car or supercar, you need to make sure you check the history first of all, once you've decided which car you want to get. Next, you need to make sure you can afford the maintenance costs. A major service is a big part of supercar ownership, as well as the minors. Things like tires also come into play. Also in that realm, you need to make sure you have warranty. Again, I cannot stress enough how important warranty is to have on these cars. Things like road tax, fuel and running costs are also something you have to factor in mind when you buy any car. Can you afford to pay the fuel? Can you afford to pay the road tax? And can you afford to change the tires if you need a new set? And finally, you need to make sure the emotional side and the head side make sense together. You figured out you can afford it. Do you love this car? Will you love this car? Have you done enough research? Is it a car that you would call a dream car? Are you buying it for yourself or are you buying it for others? These are all questions you need to ask when buying your first sports and supercar.